Hello and welcome back to the Wrexham Way. Hope you're all doing well and looking forward to today's episode as we take on Charlton and Crewe, two teams doing very well this season as we've dropped out of a little bit of form, so this one could be quite interesting. Since you were last here, a lot has happened and we'll get through it all, but first things first, make sure you do drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and of course leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Right, let's jump in. So what's happened since you guys were last here in terms of fixtures, and to be fair, it has been good, but it depends how you look at it. Now we have played a lot of games, a lot of them have been cup games, 4 cup games and then 9 league games, so loads of games off camera, but we didn't really need to do the cup games because we've done first rounds in previous seasons. I don't really feel the need to do those rounds again in subsequent seasons, unless of course it's a big game, for example, like an FA Cup third round against Man City. Obviously we do that, but we've been to those rounds before. I don't really feel like doing them again until we get further on in the competition, if you know what I mean. So although we played Wycombe and won 2-0 off camera, I didn't really feel the need to do the Altrincham or the Man City under-23s game on camera, for example. So we beat Altrincham 3-2, just about beating them. It was a bit of a tough fixture for us in the end, with a few people rotated around, but we still came away with the victory, as well as beating Man City under-23s to come second in the EFL Trophy group to qualify for the first round or second round, whatever it's called. And then the rest of November was pretty decent. 2-0 against Shrewsbury, 2-0 against Wigan, and then a 1-1 draw against MK Dons, who are, I think, also trying to vie for promotion this season. So this was a good result. December, though, December's a weird one, because Oxford we won 2-0, great result, and then we lost 2 cup games in a row. We did rotate around a little bit, but still, we shouldn't have lost them. A 2-0 loss to Accrington Stanley in the EFL Trophy, and then a 2-1 loss to Charlton in the FA Cup second round was not ideal. We got back to winning ways against Walsall 3-1, but then the last 3 games, we've drawn Colchester, Burton Albion and Oxford. None of these 3 teams are particularly good this season. So I'm not entirely sure what to make of it. You can look at it in the aspect that we are 10 games in a row unbeaten in the league, which is phenomenal. But you could also look back and say we've only won 1 of our last 6 games. So I don't know if we're in good form or bad form. I can't quite work it out. Despite all of this, we are still top of the table as it stands, but I don't think for much longer. We sit on 51 points from 24 games. MK Dons just 1 point behind us, but they have 2 games in hand, so they could theoretically go 5 points ahead of us. Ipswich Town have a game in hand, win that, they go 1 point ahead of us. So potentially, if these teams play their games in hand today at some point, I don't think they will do, we could drop down to 3rd. So, and in the clutches of Charlton and Crewe, if they beat us today, and then they win their game in hand. In fact, if they beat us today, both these teams, and then win their game in hand, they might actually go ahead of us. Actually, no, that's a lie. They'll be 1 point behind us and 2 points behind us if that does happen, but they'd still be right on our tails. So for me, I think at this point of the season, the aim has to be playoffs at a minimum. I kind of feel like Lincoln City in real life last season, overachieving at the top, and then at the end of the season, they just start to drop off, get into the playoffs, lose the playoffs, and then this season, well, we don't talk about this season at all. And of course, as I was saying, like Oxford and Colchester, 2 teams we've drawn to recently, 17th and 18th. We lost to Accrington Stanley in the Cup, they're 24th in the division. So, yeah, basically I think we are massively overperforming right now, and I think in the new year it's going to be a big shock. There's also going to be another big shock in the new year for Gary, because apparently he's not going to get a work permit. It runs out on the 1st of December, and it says you can offer him a new contract. So I did offer him a new contract, thinking that that might help it. It doesn't actually say how much money we need to pay him. I think I offered him £650 a week, and apparently that wasn't enough, and he refused to sign that contract. So there could be some issues with Gary at some point. We want to keep hold of him. We've got him on contract until 2025, but we won't be able to use him because for whatever reason the work permit runs out. Annoyingly, he's got no youth caps either, so it's not like he's going to be in the Serbian national team anytime soon. So unless we pay him a bomb, but it doesn't say how much money we have to pay him, I don't really know what to do. Also, we've gone through that sort of Sacktober time of the season where clubs sack their managers, and I've been offered 3 jobs, or interviews for 3 jobs, in high divisions. Barnsley wanted me, Nottingham Forest wanted me, and so did Preston. But of course, I said no to all of them. And the last thing I want to talk about before we get into the games is the loan players. Of course, they've been out on loan for half a season or so now, and 3 players are due to come back to us because their loan period does finish. Now, Rob Street is the main talking point. He is our young striker who was the second top scorer in the National League at Barnet last season. We nearly put him in our first team, but thought, no, he needs one more season out on loan to get better at Doncaster, who are a very good team in League 2. I think they're 4th right now in League 2. They are. So we're doing very well. Issue is, he's not. He's not playing many games. And that's a big issue. 15 appearances, 4 goals. It's not great. 9 of them are in the league, so who knows what he's actually doing in the cup games. We're going to bring him back, get him out on loan somewhere else, I think, because he needs to play. Still has that League 1 potential, but we're running out of time. I am, though, going to extend the loan of Ronaldo at Doncaster. He has played 20 games this season, scoring 5 goals. Average rating is quite poor. I don't quite know why, but he's no assists maybe. He's playing in the attacking midfield. Maybe that's the issue with him. But he's played 18 games in the league out of like 23 or so. So he's doing pretty good. 15 starts, 3 substitute appearances. I think he's developing quite well at Doncaster. And he is, if we look at their team, in their first team, whereas Rob Street isn't. So I think we extend the loan for him and we let him stay there. But Rob Street comes back. So extends and offer the extension to them and whatever. Jaden Williams at Rochdale, he is also coming up for renewal. But he wants to stay at Rochdale, as you can see there. And they've actually made a bid for him as well. So 16 games, 6 goals for Jaden Williams, the young striker. That's good enough for me. He's playing frequently enough for me to be happy and scoring goals in the process too. So we can't complain too much. And actually, it does look like immediately the offer for Ronaldo comes through, so they want to extend that, although I've clicked on that and it's not let me say anything, so I'll just say yes. Hang on. Doncaster board not willing to sign players because they're in the process of a takeover. Okay, that could be an issue, but extending might be alright. Jaden Williams will say yes to this one too. He'll be fine to stay at Rochdale. Anyway, with all of that being said, all the updates done, I feel like you're up to speed with the team, what's been happening, and how we're kind of feeling going into these 2 games. Not very confident against Charlton or Crewe, I must say. Today, we're going to put out the strongest lineup I think possible right now, which is Chris Johns in goal with a backline of Lennon, Street and Hayden, with Medford Smith and Hosanna in the wing-back roles. Hosanna very tired, but we can't swap him out because Liam Shepherd is currently injured for 4 weeks. Harry Boy's also interested on the left-hand side, but he's only out for a couple of days or so, so Medford Smith can get injured if he wants to. James Jones and Jim McBangold will join forces in the centre of midfield. Jim McBangold, remember, reports form, was suspended for 6 games in a row. Obviously, this is just cutting it off, but he got sent off in the game before Fleetwood, suspended for that one, but could play the Crewe game, got sent off in that one, and then had 6 games, 6 games suspended, and then picked up his 5th yellow card against Shrewsbury to get suspended again. So he's been out for at least 7 games this season. And looking at this, he's on his way to his another 5th yellow card. So, and looking at this, on his way to his 10th yellow card. So more suspensions coming. I don't understand why he was allowed to play this game against Crewe and then get sent off. I don't quite understand it. I feel like there was some sort of glitch. Unless, looking at the rules, he was only banned for 1 match for his first red card, not 3 matches, but then got a 2nd yellow card for striking another player to get 5 matches banned, but then also get another ban for it being another yellow card. I don't really, red card rather, I'm so confused by the whole situation. Anyway, he joins forces with Jones in the middle. That's the whole point I was trying to make, with Brandon Cover, Alexander and Mullen leading the line. So kick-off is upon us today, and I just don't know how it's going to go. On the one hand, 10 games in the league unbeaten. On the other hand, 1 win in our last 6, when you include cup games as well, which of course were losses, one of which was to Charlton. So who knows how this is going to go. This whole season has been a surprise so far, so I'm up for more surprises in today's episode. It's going to be a bit of a bizarre one, as Aaron Hayden into Brandon Cover, playing quite deep there actually, into Jim McBangold, who finds Paul Mullen, who can put a ball out wide to Medford Smith, but the Charlton defence are really tightly packed at the back. Very difficult for us to find a way through right now, as Oliver Street into Aaron Hayden. James Jones, can he get it out wide? No, he finds Paul Mullen brilliantly. Oh, and he puts it wide. That would have been a great goal. Corner for us though, James Jones putting it in to the middle. As I record this, you love to see it, Paul Mullen getting his 20th of the season. I was about to say, as I record this, it's 11 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, and just a few minutes ago, FM put out a tweet saying they have updated the game. Although, I had the game open before they put that tweet out. So this is technically still on the previous update, but I think this update, I've not read the patch notes or anything, may have updated and maybe stopped corners and crosses being so overpowered maybe. But we've not done the update yet, so technically we're still fine to score corners. Harry Lennon scoring this one. You love to see it. Okay, so we're looking pretty good right now. I don't quite understand what's gone on with the form, why we've played brilliantly, then badly, then brilliantly, then badly, and today so far brilliantly, as that would have been a great goal from Mullin. Another corner though, James Jones in the middle, Lennon over the bar. If I never turn Foot Manager off, if I never shut this game down now, just leave my computer on permanently forever, I'll never have to do the update, which maybe might nerf corners. I've not looked at the patch notes yet, so I really don't know. But I'd like to think it would have done. We now have a free kick though. James Jones with an injury over his head hits the crossbar and Lennon can't get the rebound in the back of the net. But if Lennon's got an injury, James Jones has an injury, I might take him off the pitch just to protect him. We might do it at half time, I think, because Charlton on a counter-attack right now. He might be okay to finish up till half time, for example. He might go for the whole game, but I think, especially the 2-goal lead, it's not like he's essential to be on the pitch right now. So, he is looking a bit tired down here, I can see. I think we will take him off in a second. In the meantime, we are bringing the ball out from the back. Aaron Hayden into Bryce Hosanna. Bryce Hosanna back to Aaron Hayden. Into James Jones, back to Bryce Hosanna, over the halfway line now. Oh, that through ball was nearly great. In the meantime, Charlton pick it up and look to come on a bit of a counter-attack. Although we have defended quite not very well because they still are in possession right now. As Hardy, okay, well, 2-1. Annoying to concede that just before half-time, but one of those things, I guess. Thrash the arms, far from pleased from what I've seen. I'm going to say that to them. I'm also going to tactics and I'm going to bring Jem Finley on for James Jones. I think our youngsters this season have had a lot of game time, which has been really nice to see. You know, Oliver Street plays quite frequently, Jim McBangle plays frequently, Jem Finley's in there, you know, every so often, as is Gary. He's played, I think, 10 games or so this season. So I think the idea to promote our youngsters and develop them has gone, that was close, really, really well so far. Even Serene, he plays cup games. Whenever Chris Johns is on international duty, he plays games as well. So he's probably got like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 appearances this season so far. With 30 minutes to go, though, we are still holding on to this game. Harry Lennon on a 9.1 rating. He's always up there in the rating. You love to see it. And to protect that rating, actually, I might bring him off. I want him to get player. He's quite tired too, actually, as well. So we'll bring Gary on for him on that left-hand side of the attack, of the defence, sorry. And George Alexander off for Shamanga too. Just a little bit of pace needed up front, potentially, as there's no highlight. That's good. We're winning right now. Ooh, our MK Dons losing. If I scroll down here, I can see that MK Dons are drawing with Bristol Rovers right now. So Ipswich go ahead of them in the league. Oh, if that had gone in the back of a net, that would have been very frustrating. But with 5 minutes to go, it's looking good for us. Oh, lucky. I think we may have just done enough to beat promotion rivals Charlton. Oh, if Paul Mullen scored that, that would have been the icing on the cake for him in today's game. Jim McBangle wins the ball into Gary, but the final whistle is blown. Charlton 1, Wrexham 2. Deserved win, I think. And that's now 11 games in a row without losing in the league, but still only 2 wins in our last 7. But every time we seem to give a lifeline to MK Dons, they also bottle it massively. Jaden Williams also extending his loan at Rochdale. That can now be confirmed. So he's there for the rest of the season, which is lovely. And Liam Shepherd, our backup right wing back, who had some issues with his last episode, of course. He has said to me he wants to leave the club at the end of his contract. Well, be honest, we brought you in on a free, on a 1-year deal to be backup. Go. See if I care. Discuss the issue with him. What am I going to say? Fair enough. Let you go, lad. But we're now at the 30th of December, game day for the game against Crewe. But there's also plenty of players with only 6 months left on their contract. If we sort it by current ability, Hayden and Lennon have to stay. Brandon Cover has to stay. Shamanga? I don't know. Shamanga's one. We bought him for a lot of money. This is the thing. Is he as good as Rob Street? potentially, we try and sell Shamanga in January and Rob Street takes his place. That's an option. It's a very nice option, actually. We're not going to make back the, what is it, £145,000 we spent on him. We're not going to make that back. But something would be quite nice. So I'm tempted by that, actually. If we can maybe sell Shamanga, that would be okay. Medford Smith will stay. I mean, according to the game, he's not very good, right? But he plays very well for us. So he'll stick around. Shepherd obviously going, Clark will go, Sareen will stay, but Tozer, Cleworth, a lot of his players, well, the bottom end of the list will probably go. Obviously, I'll get some of these people signed up to new coaching contracts too, like Dirk Kuyt or Michel Vorm, players like that. But in terms of youth team players, actually there's a couple here that maybe do need to have contracts extended. Alan and Joe, for example. Maybe this guy that I can't pronounce, but the 2.5 and below can probably go. So I will sort that out through January, I reckon. For this game, changes will be made. I want to bring Gary on for Aaron Hayden, I reckon, just to give him a bit of game time. We can't change the wing back because the replacements are injured, but we can get George Alexander off for Shamanga just to have a little bit of freshness up top. But other than that, no more changes. Let's go. I mean, Gary's playing today in what will be his final game for the club for quite some time, unless we can get this work permit situation sorted out. So actually, Gary does need to play today just for that, essentially. I guess what I'll do is get him out on loan somewhere, but unless he plays in Spain, I can't remember which is the shortest time to get European nationality, but if actually that doesn't even matter anymore, does it? Because the UK's not in the EU. So really, he needs to stay. That's annoying. I took a breath to pause. They score a goal. But still, I don't know what to do with him. Other than give him like 10 grand a week, which we can't afford. I want to keep him because he has got championship potential too, which is like really solid. How he's been left unmarked there completely is really annoying too. That's Harry Lennon's fault though, not Gary's fault. That's the left-hand side of the defence. But 20 minutes into this game, we are 1-0 down against Crewe. I imagine MK Dons are winning right now because they are going level on points with us as things stand. And as it stands right now, Ipswich are also winning, and they're about to go ahead of us in the table if we can't pick up a win here today against Crewe. And they'll have a game in hand, so potentially could go 4 points clear of us at the top. So, okay. Game on, Ipswich. Game on, MK Dons. Let's see what you guys can do. Hopefully what we can do as well, because we need to try and win this game. As Medford Smith gets the ball out wide in plenty of space, puts a cross in, too close to the keeper. Weirdly though, the highlight is continuing, so it does suggest that there's more to this highlight than meets the eye, such as Shamanga not scoring. Thanks a lot, game. And so as we approach half-time, we have had more shots, 9 shots to Crewe's 4, but we are behind in this game. Thrash the arms. What was that? Get on with it, lads. So, Oliver Street on the ball, racing forward with it right now. Puts the ball out wide to Bryce Hosanna, who's advancing into the Crewe half. And Shamanga scored a wonder goal. Whoa, the keeper's had an absolute mare there. How has the keeper messed that one up? Let's watch this one back. Oliver Street, Bryce Hosanna, puts the ball into the path of Shamanga, shoots. Oh, the keeper's had a really, really horrible moment there. Not that we are going to complain. Shamanga, though, doing everything he can today to show us why we shouldn't sell him. But Rob Street is younger, has potential, and I think across the last 2 seasons, although it being in lower divisions, has scored more goals, maybe? If you include all 3 seasons, actually Shamanga might have got it, to be fair. But it's close. It's close in number of goals scored. But if we can get money for Shamanga, I think that is probably what we should be doing. I've just realised I haven't made any substitutes. I've been too busy talking and thinking about Shamanga, which is very annoying because we have 1 day off until the Accrington game. So they're going to be very tired for that game, which is not ideal. But we've come away with a draw there. A 1-1 draw. Does that keep us on top of the table? I wasn't really looking at the table. It doesn't. It puts us level on points with Ipswich, but by virtue of goal difference, they go ahead of us. We're knocked off the top, and they have a game in hand. As do MK Dons, they've got 2 games in hand on us. But out of nowhere, we now have drawn out 11 points from Crewe, Charlton and Derby County. So unless we have a massive, massive downturn, we should... Top 3 is our aim, I think, now. But we lost to Accrington recently. We just never can seem to beat Derby County, so there could be a couple of losses incoming in the next couple of weeks. So what do we want to do next episode? I mean, I would say Lincoln City, right? But that's only 3 games away. We need to do a little bit more than that in between episodes. So, Sunderland the 13th, Rotherham the 9th, Ipswich... Oh, all right. How about Rotherham and Ipswich next episode? I mean, Rotherham are doing fairly okay, but Ipswich are a title rival. So we have to do them next episode, right? So thank you ever so much for watching today's episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And of course, if you have done, make sure you do drop a like on the video for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Until next time, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.